Okay, so it's the 4th? No, 5th. No. No, 4th of, the 4th of October. And I didn't actually give single recordings about my last two um, ceremonies before this last one, because they were just extremely subtle. Not much happened. I was able to write most of, pretty much the whole summary of what happened those nights on one page in my journal. The 1st of October, I could always feel the medicine, but I didn't have any difficulties with purging or guarding myself. The first night, on the first, I got some images of what I think were past lives. The ones I can remember is like an abusive husband, a janitor, a rich multimillionaire sitting on the beach in front of his giant mansion, and my favorite was traveling around in an RV with what felt like my soulmate. And so I basically just purged those up. No problems there. Rob said that night that my aura was beginning to really shine through. Yeah. So that night was really calm. Nobody had really any big issues or episodes or of any kind. Then on the 2nd, my 10th ceremony, I got a rather important message. It had seemed to me like, Nishi, what are you doing up there? God. For the past few nights, it had seemed like the medicine was having less and less of an effect on me. And I was curious as to why, and she kind of explained it to me in the form of kind of a revelation, I guess you could call it. The seeming lack of activity in my ceremonies the past few nights was not due to actual lack of inactivity. Hello, Mishi. But the fact that I was getting better at handling the medicine. I was getting more experienced. I was getting more physically endurant to it. My nerve endings were growing and renewing. My bodily tissues were becoming more resilient to the amount of energy going through it. My experience with energy work was improving, and my experience with the medicine was improving to the point where it seemed like, there were less obstructions to push through due to my purging, less resistance, and so the work seemed almost effortless, which is why it seemed like the nights were getting more and more subtle. That night I also, how would I put it? I was basically spontaneously imagining myself as Garuda, the king of birds. For those of you who are watching who don't know who Garuda is, he is Vishnu's mount. He has the body of a human, except with 4 arms. He he has. Mishi, what? One sec. Mishi, what are you doing? Get out of my stuff. He has the head of a bird. I basically visualized just growing a beak, a couple pairs of wings, an extra pair of arms, and Michi, what are you doing? Go on, go on. And yeah, so I remembered back in Tacoma when I was in massage school, I remembered during one of my experiences with with my divination practices or with my hemp oil. At one point, I believe it was my T-Bone Eng, as E.A. Quetting put it, or my little guardian angel, who told me that my true name was Garuda. Truthfully, I at first heard it as Garoda, so it took me a while to understand what she actually said. I actually had to have her repronounce it for me, and then managed to find it. At first, I honestly was contemplating the idea of actually that I was actually Garuda for the first like 3 days or so. Then I realized that it's more like I had qualities and goals that were similar to Garuda. Right now, I would say I'm like Garuda striving towards the elixir of life, bashing through any obstacles in his way. And I am extremely determined. Anyway, yeah, that was about it for that night. That was the first night I took a second dose. Just a couple of doses of about like a seventh of a cup, and by a seventh of a cup I mean like a seventh of a teacup, very small teacup. One of those doses is basically what I've been taking up till now. Maybe a tiny bit more than that, on certain nights. After that night, Alex explained to me that the medicine will start having me work hand in hand with her on bigger problems that I guess I just couldn't let go of unconsciously. That I tend to fuel more frequently than the other stuff I've been working on. That would just spontaneously be released whenever I felt it. In the form of burping or other such things. Anyway, so last night I had about the same amount, I would say, in total as the night before last. The first dose was a little bigger than the first dose I had the night before last. The second one, on the other hand, was like an eighth of a cup. It was half of a mouthful. I anyway, yeah. My intent that last night was yeah, last night was the 3rd, and it was my 11th ceremony while I'm here. I've been here. My intent was basically to start working on the stuff that we would need to be working on hand in hand together, and such. Move on to the tougher stuff, and for the first hour and a half to 2 hours, nothing really happened. Don't want to really blame Nagar, but it's probably because Nagar was having another episode very similar to her second night. I will admit, she asked for it, literally. She went through this, through literal hell, being tortured and burned and beaten and all this other crap, and literally thought she was going to die. Pretty much exactly the same as her second night. And she kind of reminds me of me when I first started taking the medicine, because I was very determined, and that did get me into some rather tough positions. Even after she went through that second night and felt like she was going to die and all that, and it was just like, kill me now. She decided she wanted to go through it again. Literally through that exact same scenario again, and finish the job. And, well, that's what she got. It was rather funny. Well, not funny, but it was she was all for a few days after the second one, she was all like, I need to go through that again. I'm willing to go through it again if it means finishing the job, finishing my work and all that. Just bring it on. Then she starts going through it. It's like, kill me now. Make it stop. But anyway, I think she got through it. Successfully. So anyway, once she calmed down, about an hour and a half in, I managed to get a second dose, which, like I said, only consisted of about 1/8 of a cup. Up until that point, I hadn't felt a thing. Well, I'd felt kind of the medicine going through my body, the energy, but aside from that, I was barely feeling anything aside from maybe a very slight wooziness, almost like being tired, I guess. So I took the 1/8 of a cup and laid back down for another half hour or so. Nothing really happened. And then right when Arnaldo started singing his giving his vintiadas to each of us, right as he started on Almasi, who was at the beginning of the line, I started getting really woozy, and then started getting visions. And I realized that each of the visions that I was getting was it represented one of the issues we were going to be going through. And so each time an image came up, I would kind of try and guess what it represented, and and then tell the medicine to release it. Apparently, we had gone from the first level of the pyramid. Did I mention the pyramid? No, I don't think I did. Well, at the end of the ceremony, she gave me an image of a pyramid that kind of represented the path I was taking through these issues. At the very bottom, there was a large number of very small issues, some karmic issues, that I'd been working on for the past 3, 4, 5 nights. That, yeah, I think it was about 5 nights, and those were basically just the energies that I was burping up and such over the past 5 nights or so. And those were basically just issues that I was able to just unconsciously let go of. It just needed a little nudge to be activated a bit in my stomach so I could feel it, and then I would just let it up. These new issues, on the other hand, were a little more challenging in that I couldn't unconsciously just let the medicine do the work. I couldn't unconsciously let go of these issues. They were still very easy to let go of, but she still just needed my okay. So, like, I guess the most challenging one would be my addiction to snack food, which manifested as a meat lover's pizza. And I got that up by using a breathing technique of Alex's that he showed us. Basically, where you just use prana breathing to push the energy up through the top of your head and out of your body. And I used several visualization techniques to deal with others. I believe I used my need for constant entertainment or excitement. Entertainment, I should say, which was represented by a toddler version of myself. My laziness, my dislike for doing anything that doesn't entertain me. That one, I don't know why, but it manifested as like a bathroom sink. I didn't really get that, but anyway, there were a bunch of others. I must have gone through at least a dozen different things last night, probably more, and I was also burping up some minor stuff as well. So this pyramid that she showed me at the end of the night, basically I've sufficiently cleared out the bottom level, all the unconscious stuff. Now I've moved on to the slightly more intact stuff, the stuff that I tend to fuel a bit more than the other stuff. Like the snack food, for instance. I eat snack food all the time. I mean, not all the time, but occasionally I get that urge and fall for it and come home with a bag full of snacks. Um, and so that wasn't a huge issue, but it was one that I was attached to enough that I couldn't unconsciously release it. So you could say I've been promoted to level 2. And also at the end of the end of the ceremony, due to the stuff I'd learned and the progress I'd made, I just felt just pure gratitude for everybody in the room, for the medicine, for Arnaldo. God, I can never get his name right. And after the ceremony, I got some more good news from Alex and Rob. They both told me that they had kind of gotten the message that I'm ready to start taking more medicine per night, and then so that made me happy. And then Rob threw this one on me that really made my night. Apparently Arnaldo had given him some news, gotten a message about me, about my epilepsy. Before I go into that, like I said, each level of the pyramid has less stuff on it, but the stuff on it is considerably more challenging to release. So yeah, eventually I'll get to those points, those issues that I have a stronger emotional connection to, or have a stronger emotional response to them, and then eventually I'll get to the stuff that actually gives me physical issues, like my eyesight, my bad leg, my epilepsy. At the very top of the pyramid is like the big kahuna. And when I told Rob about this, he said that what he saw at the top of my pyramid was my lack of self-love. This actually made a lot of sense to me. It explained a lot. It could definitely explain a lot about certain fears I have, issues, my need to be, my desire to be special. But anyway, so at the very end of the night, Rob told me about a kind of a message that Arnaldo had gotten from the medicine about me concerning my epilepsy. I can't even really remember if Arnaldo even knew about my epilepsy beforehand. But anyway, I didn't understand it when Arnaldo told Rob. It was in Spanish. So then, right before Arnaldo left, he comes over to me. He's all like talking to me in Spanish, all excited, like, yes. And then Rob explained that he had something that Arnaldo wanted me to tell me, or wanted him to tell me. And so at the end of the night, I go over and I ask him what was it that you wanted to tell me. And Rob told me that apparently there is going to be a woman who I'm going to meet, who is going to help me, who is going to cure my epilepsy. And to do this, basically, we the way this will happen is through our union. She'll just make my heart explode and break through its shackles, so to speak. Actually, Rob wasn't sure exactly. His Spanish isn't particularly great. I mean, it's a lot better than a lot of people's, of course, but he didn't get the message completely. He wasn't sure if Arnaldo had said that either this woman would cure my epilepsy or I should beware of her because she would make my heart literally explode. But we're leaning towards the former in this one, since Arnaldo seemed pretty excited about it. I don't think he would be all like, yeah, Rob has something to tell you. So there's a woman out there who's gonna give you a heart attack. But yeah, so we're pretty sure that whoever this woman is, she's going to help me cure myself. She's gonna allow me to release that last big issue, make that final leap, and finally release it, and I'll be cured. I don't know if I'll be meeting her during this retreat. I mean, during this stay, or when I get home. But either way, that bit of information really made my night. So, yeah, I think that's about it. Alex gave me a couple of pointers on how to kind of utilize my Garuda identity, which, like I said, isn't really my true identity. It's more of a more like an archetype that my soul is following, I guess. Follow in the footsteps of which it's following, I guess. He said that I am well, Garuda, like I said, is the king of birds, and as I am following the archetype of Garuda, I am part of the bird tribe, which I'm gonna have to look up. I'm not entirely sure what that is. And I should learn to utilize my wings to spread high vibrational energy to other people. Just waft them over people, allowing light to be released through them. I can use them as protection to surround myself, while filling myself with filling my being with light, and holding back any darkness. So yeah, I think I might want to look further into that when I get the chance. But yeah, that last night was a great night for me. I mean, I came to bed and literally felt like I might start crying. I just felt really good about last night, especially at the end. So, and since it seems like I'm going to be joining in pretty much every ceremony they have here, if Rob keeps his word and starts giving me one-on-one ceremonies, then I'll be doing 14 ceremonies a month, which is definitely more than I was expecting. So, and even if he doesn't, I'll be still doing like 12, and so yeah, I'll be getting a lot of progress done. I'm thinking since that first level took only 5 ceremonies to finish, I should be done with level 2 within the next 4 or 3, considering I started on it last night. I don't really know what the difference in ratios will be, but yeah, by the next, I'm thinking by the next retreat, I should be able to have finished level 2 and moved on to level 3. I don't know how many levels there are, but yeah, it's exciting.